So thank you to my friends for bringing me back to the present moment. But this is what I was so excited about, though. I am so curious and excited to hear our speaker today, Shaun. Do you guys all remember about a year ago, this guy pulled up on his bike and he had dreads and he was heavily inked and he was under 70? And I'm like, whoa, who is this? And we got to, and he had a beautiful, inviting smile. And as we got to know him, we realized that he also had a beautiful, inviting heart. So today we're going to get to know him a little bit more as he gives us our message. Please, Shaun.
Good morning. Okay. I'm Shaun Ferguson, for those that don't know me. This is my first time up at the podium. And so, to share a little bit about God is my abundant source and supply. You know, I want to be a little honest here. I tried to write something about this about 3 times, and it just wasn't coming through. And so finally I had to realize I had to let what was wanting to come through be said. So here we are. A little bit about me. I've been in this teaching for about 17 years, and I've been a practitioner for 8. And truly grateful for this teaching. It's given me the tools to just move through this life with just a lot more joy in my heart, and the tools to be able to conquer the challenges, especially the ones that we are facing in this present moment today. And so truly grateful for that. Thank you for having me. I'd like to lead us in some breath work first. If we all feel comfortable, can you go ahead and soften that gaze of the eyes, possibly just kind of go to your breath. Maybe put your hands on your heart. Feel that beat. I call that purpose. I realize that this is this divine intelligence that is breathing me right here and right now. Continue with breath. Bringing your heart even more online to this moment. I'll read you an affirmation. Maybe repeat it inside your head, or you can say it out loud. I'm going to read it twice. There is only this one life, and that life is God's life. And that life is my life now. And again, there is only this one life. That life is God's life. And that life is my life now. Thank you. Thanks for having me, Heather. This morning, I want to share my thoughts centered around this theme, which is God is my abundant source and supply. As I contemplate this topic, I realize I need to narrow it down, and there's so much I could discuss based on the wealth of information and all these experiences that I've experienced throughout my life as being part of this teaching and also a practitioner. So I think what I would like to say about this is take a look around at where we're living. We are in Hawaii. I mean, how abundant is that? Like everywhere and everything that I see is so abundant. It's in the fruit, it's in the trees, it's in the water, it's in every single one of you. It's inside me. So grateful for this. I want to share something important about what I believe to be true. A very truism to me in this world. And that is love. I truly believe love is the only thing that exists. Love is happening all the time. even when it doesn't appear like that could possibly be love. Perhaps it could be a cry for love when it's not looking like the pretty love that we all imagine in our head or what we see. And anything that seems to lack or act contrary to love is merely just that cry. You see, the opposite of love is not hate, it is fear. Interestingly, fear pulls us away from our hearts and leads us into our heads, trapping us into the lower aspects of our minds, resulting in a never-ending cycle of thoughts as we attempt to solve our fears. We can all relate to this exhausting rabbit hole of trying to solve our fears. So what I invite you to do is to create a space for that fear. As it arises, instead of reacting with, I am scared. No. Anything we put I am in front of, we affirm for our life. You are not scared. You are bountiful. You are joy. You are love. This is a practice, and I genuinely believe that in these times we are called to love deeper than ever before. And with that love, we must cultivate trust, starting with trusting ourselves and our own resilience. We need to let go of our learned helplessness. And how can we do this? Perhaps by waking up in the morning and maybe not going to our phones or turning on the news, but maybe sitting quietly, maybe having a meditation practice. Mine is a japa mala practice. Mine is meditation. Whatever works for you, that's going to create that quiet space. Maybe consider enrolling into some science of mind classes. Be mindful, these are quite addicting. I've taken most of them twice, and I can't look forward to taking some with all y'all here to be able to get to learn more about you. Also, be open to adapting and changing. And through change, we discover more of who we are. And remembering that change is happening through us and for us, never to us. We can't schedule an inspired life. Wherever you feel friction in your life is where growth is calling you. I affirm and release the need for certainty while inviting authenticity. This might involve sitting with discomfort, but within the discomfort lies the trust, and the goodness of spirit will always provide. In these present times, one may ask, what is truly safe? I believe it is life's purpose calling you, often beginning with the quiet prompting. For me, it was 9 years ago when I felt drawn to follow this practitioner path. Amidst much uncertainty, I was in the process of dissolving a 25-year marriage, losing my daughter, losing my home, everything that I've ever known. And yet, that still small voice that I believe was my abundant source and supply, which was God, leaning me forward to this teaching, this magnificent teaching. And yet, there was a subtle, powerful voice reminding me to trust that God is in this, and it had everything I needed to be able to carry me through what I perceived to be a rough time. Trust me, there was moments that I wanted to give up, as everything around me seemed to be collapsing. However, through this teaching and correcting my intellect, I began to see my life falling into place. A realization that continues to deepen as I mature, kind of like red wine. So I ask you, what is your skinny branch? What ignites a spark within you? I can assure you that there is a superpower in uncertainty. It allows us to identify what truly moves our spirits and to distance ourselves from what is diminishing our joy. Perhaps it's about shifting our perspective and gravitating towards the things that brings us fulfillment, passion, and creativity. I am incredibly grateful for places like Center for Spiritual Living, where we can gather as a community, access tools, knowledge, and connect with like-minded individuals. But what happens after we leave this space? How do we want to show up in the world? When we go home, do we turn on the news or we get caught up in mindless drama? Just like the practice of yoga, the practice truly begins after we roll up the mat. Our Sunday celebration is just a celebration of getting together. The practice begins when we leave the center. And it's essential to put what we have learned into action. To be honest, I stepped away from this teaching 4 years ago to follow the path of yoga, which led me all the way to India, where I studied under a teacher and became a master teacher of yoga and studied the Vedic wisdom. And looking back, and even in this moment, I see where our teachings originate to the one. It wasn't until the first day that I walked into Center for Spiritual Living East Hawaii that I realized and listened to Rev Bev and seeing this amazing community, the way you guys come together in love and just put this thing called life together for us to celebrate our lives, that I said, I heard that call again. I just heard it in a different way. And I am so incredibly grateful for that. What I'm truly grateful for is that I realize that I never left this path of this teaching. What I realized is that I was the path. And this was just more for a deeper understanding of who I was. And for that, I'm grateful. I intended to share numerous quotes and insights from many textbooks I've read throughout this teaching over the years. But one profound quote from the Gita resonates with me and it remains a lesson I am still learning to embody today. And I would love to share that with you. It's when Krishna advises Arjuna, establish yourself in yoga and then act. If one is unfamiliar with the meaning of yoga, it signifies the union of all aspects of life. So establish yourself in unity and then respond to the world. How does that sound for homework? Easier said than done? I'm not claiming that it's easy, nor am I suggesting that it's difficult. It's a practice. And I believe in our current world circumstances, our urgent is to engage in a practice that nurtures a deeper love than we've ever known, fostering more of a profound sense of unity within our minds and unity within our hearts. And remember, the only thing that is happening is love. So I say we must be vigilant about what we allow into our consciousness. We need to practice kindness. We need to practice compassion. I believe that this is the true path to liberation. We must cultivate our inner garden through whatever means necessary. For those enrolled in Science of Mind classes, please keep carrying the torch. Please keep coming back. Learn to embody the 5 steps of spiritual mind treatment. Meditate, contemplate, and lean into the discomfort by stepping out onto your skinny branches. For me, that means learning to forgive and making space for fear as it arises. Even amidst our current political affairs, this is where I recognize I'm needed for deeper prayer. Understanding that what I need to do is tend to my own garden as the shadows of the world become more increasingly visible. No matter how cleverly disguised one may be, or how they may speak of division, they too are the beloved. In this moment, I choose to love instead of succumbing to what hasn't even occurred. occurred yet. I choose to remain present. As a practitioner, I will hold this truth for myself, and I will also hold it for every single one here if you aren't able to do that for yourself. And as a devotee of love, I'll embody this truth not just on Sundays when you see me, but I encourage you as a community to do the same to the best of your ability. I remember that this life is unfolding through me and always for my highest evolution. Why else are we here? I mean, the food and coffee is pretty great, but just saying. I also look forward to being in classes with you and getting to know you, and teaching classes, facilitating workshops on this practice of yoga, sharing my music. For most of you who don't know, I am a musician. You haven't seen me up here yet. I got lots to share on that. And exchanging wisdom through laughter and even tears. So I will leave you today with a topic of personal reflection, or whatever level it resonates with you. It's rational, surrendered optimism. What is rational? Meaning you are fulfilling the need of the hour. You are taking care of your mind, your body, your heart, and you have a strong spiritual culture within yourself. Surrendered. There is incredible wisdom that is only known and born out of surrender. That you know that you can't control the infinite variables. The more we try to control, the less we in control we are. So the only way is to surrender. Let's delegate authenticity. To whom? To the creative intelligence of existence. Have no resistance to any outcome. And when there's no resistance, you can't be defeated. So that means you are strong. And when you have strength within yourself, you can't be scared. You can't have fear move through you. But you will still act in the way love makes you act. And lastly, optimism. Why optimism? Because that is the testimony to your own resilience. Because at the end of the day, the seer is to sing, the observer is the observed, and the dancer is the dance. You are this, and you are that. How's the future going to be? It's always going to be bright. Let's go to prayer. One power, one creative intelligence, one love. And that love is moving in and throughout everything. You, me, the flowers, the water, the birds, the trees, the whole entire of existence. And I know we all showed up today by divine appointment. That we chose to come to this place for the exact thing that I needed to hear, that I needed for my life and your life. And so I take this superpower of uncertainty, I take this rational, surrendered optimism in whatever ways that I can, and I make that work for my life, right here and right now. I'm so incredibly grateful to be able to be a conduit for spirit, to be able to allow this teaching, this love, these words to just transpire through the microphone and into your hearts. I just let this prayer go knowing it's done and it's all good. And together we say, and so it is. Thank you.